Hi, everyone. Welcome yet again to Z1 Concept North America Roundtable Discussion. This actually is episode 11. Wow, we've made it to 11. Woohoo! Excellent. Well, first of all, thank you to everybody who has been giving us amazing positive feedback from our discussions, and to all our previous guests and panel members who've shared some amazing insights during this very challenging time. So we have another fantastic group of guests here today, an all-female cast. So that's very exciting also. So let's get going. My name is Brian Grieve. I'm the Director of Education for Z1 Concept North America. It's a joy to be hosting this. So let's get moving, and I'll introduce you to my co-host, great friend, great colleague, the one and only, Mr. Gerard Caruso. What's up, Gerard?
What's going on, Brian? Woo. Episode 11, amazing, right?
Right?
I think out of all the episodes, they've all been great, and we've gotten a lot of support, but I'm really excited about this episode, and I think because we're seeing it through the eyes of salon managers, salon coordinators, receptionists, the people that are in the front line, as I want to say. We talk about frontline people. These are the people that are in the front line. They're the ones that greet our guests, that kind of keep our staffs up to date and basically on time, on schedule, do all that work. My name is Gerard Caruso. I am the creative director for Z1 Concept. And I think it's great that we're able to have these communications, not only with each and every one of you that have joined us today, but especially that we're going to be able to share this to each and every stylist, salon owner, DSC, distributor, anybody out there that chooses to get a little bit of insight. So what I like to do is go around, we'll call each person out one by one and kind of just state your name, where you're from, and what you are doing with your salon right now. But let's just get the territory that you're in and name of your salon and the name of yourself first. So let's go right over to Susan.
Hey.
Hi, I'm Susan Foster, and our salon region is in Bergen County, New Jersey. Right now, we just found out this morning that we'll be delayed somewhat longer than we expected. So we're still in a holding pattern, but we have been in contact with many, many clients and continue on a daily basis speaking to our staff.
Great. That's awesome.
Great. Thanks, Susan.
Susan's from Salon ID, correct?
Salon
Susan?
ID.
Yes. Yes.
You forgot to tell us what your salon's called.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine. No problem.
No,
don't worry,
don't
Susan. So, Salon ID over in the Bergen County area. Amazing. Let's head over to Hannah.
My name is Hannah Grisham. I live in Knoxville, Tennessee, and I work at the Metropolis.
Nice. And what do you do at Metropolis, Hannah?
I am a guest flow specialist. I'm also right-hand man to anybody. I kind of do anything that's needed in the salon.
Right. Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah.
I'm glad. Well, welcome to this roundtable. I think it's really important. Right down there on the bottom, Miss Fran Lilo. Oh, we got to unmute you. There you go.
There you go.
I unmuted myself. I'm Fran Lillo, and I work at Salon G in Bergen County, New Jersey. We are, again, delayed a little bit, as you already heard. Unfortunately, New Jersey is the second highest in all this, so we do have a lot to think about, and we have been meeting Zoom meetings with our staff and talking about all the new things that we're going to implement going forward, and things that involve what we're going to do to keep ourselves safe and to keep our guests safe, obviously. And I think it's very exciting to go in and to be able to have a plan and to know, and that makes me feel confident to go back in and not be scared of what's going to happen. But there's a lot of unknowns still. We don't have really any definite dates, but we are communicating with our clients through our social media, through our emails, through phone calls, and updating voicemails and keeping them informed as well. And we have the most anxious clients in the world because they all just want to come in and they don't care.
Right.
Okay. Well, Fran, Fran, thank you, but you've probably answered 3 of Gerard's next
Okay,
questions.
No, no, not at all.
That's
No,
because I
good.
worked with him. I already knew what he was.
She's got
That's
you worked
fine.
out. There you
That's
go.
fine. We'll
No,
work it
thanks,
out. Don't
Fran.
even pay any attention to that. Carolyn, why don't you introduce yourself? Tell us where you're from. Oh, 1
I
minute,
have to,
Carolyn.
no, there you go. Oh, go ahead.
I'm Caroline Fioretti. I'm from the Western Mass area. I work at Brush Salon in East Long Meadow.
Awesome. Great.
Welcome.
Welcome to the round table.
Yeah.
And last but never not least, Miss Kaylee.
Kelsey.
Hi, my name is Kelsey Garris. I'm a salon coordinator at SB International in Brunswick, Ohio. So actually just about an hour ago, it was announced that salons in Ohio are able to open next Friday, May 15th. We're very excited. We've been keeping in contact with our clients through phone calls. Now we're actually able to schedule appointments, and we've also been keeping contact with clients through social media.
Nice.
Cool. Okay, welcome.
So that was awesome to hear, because I think that, like some of you have mentioned already, there is a communication that's been going on, and I think that was the most important thing. The reason why I thought it was important to hear the voices of all of you salon coordinators and managers and front desk, frontline people, as I like to call them, but you are the front desk, that you're the first person that a guest is going to see when they walk into the salon. And, I want to start this off in, not necessarily on a negative aspect, but just to hear, because I when Fran did her intro, she did mention something, that, the guests are nervous and the staff, and she's nervous too, and keeping her hair, herself healthy, and the guests' health on the front line is really, really important. So let's go around the table. Do you think within your salons and within your stylists that are working for you, including yourself, is there a little bit of hesitation? Is there a little bit of fright that might be in there? Hannah, for you, for your staff. Hannah, I believe you're already open, right?
Yeah, we actually opened, my first day was May 1st, last Friday.
So on your re-grand opening of your salon, do you think that there was a little hesitation or a little bit of fight or fear?
Not with our staff. Our staff, we were more than ready to get back. But, we had to take precautions, to keep everybody safe. There may be, a few clients who were a little worrisome about coming back to get their services done. But, once we educated them on, what we're doing at the salon, they were more than happy to come get their services done. I think in general, everybody, has a right to be worried because, it is a pretty dangerous virus.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. But I think it's gone really smooth so far.
Cool. Good.
That's good to hear.
Anybody else, just raise your hand and then I'll call on you. Has anybody else already opened their salon, or are they opening? No, so we're all the rest of the people. Kelsey.
We're opening next Friday, May 15th.
So then let's start with you. So your salon is going to be opening, and you're in Ohio, correct?
Yes,
So
that's correct.
do you, for you personally, is there a little hesitation with you, a little bit of fear behind that?
No, I feel comfortable and confident in the precautions that we're taking, and I feel confident in our stylists, that they'll be taking the sanitation steps to take what we need to be able to be open.
Cool. Oh, that's great. I think that, the excitement for all of us to want to open and get back into our salons has probably overwhelmed the fear portion of it.
Yeah.
But there are precautions that we have to take, and I think in each and every one of you. So I'm going to go down to Fran for a minute and talk to Fran and see. Fran, I know that Salon G is not open as of yet, and as well as with Salon ID and Susan Foster's salon, that we're both in the Bergen County area, correct? Both of you, right? But there were precautions that were starting to come into play. So out of curiosity, Fran, what is some of the precautions that you're implementing with the staff over at Salon G?
So we're going to be wearing masks, and we're going to have masks to provide to our guests if they don't have their own masks. We are implementing a sanitizer on every station for everyone to have for themselves and for their guests. We're implementing sanitizing and sterilizing procedures for the chairs, for the implements in between clients. We're staggering our appointments so that we have time in between clients to clean the area, to clean the station, to clean ourselves, to, make sure everybody's safe. And we will never have more than one person sitting in the reception area. People will be asked to wait in their cars if appointments overlap, but I'm confident in the way they're being, booked, that I don't think we're going to have that problem, because we're giving ourselves the right amount of time, whether it's a haircut, whether it's a man or a woman or a color, and I pretty much know how long everybody needs and who I'm doing it for, so that I know how I can stagger it for each individual, because not everyone works the same way.
Right. And I think that that's a great point, Fran. I'm glad you brought that up, because as it's amazing to me, because you wear many hats in your salon. You're a salon coordinator, you're a salon manager, you're the salon mom. I mean, everybody confides in you.
I'm the old one.
Yeah. The guests love you. They kind of call you, you are the housewives of Salon G, I have to say. But what I think is really, really great in what you said is, as, not only being the salon manager, but running that front desk and being the salon coordinator, that you know everybody's schedule. So you know how you're going to stagger the guests in the salon and what the timing is going to be. So I think that's really good. I want to head over to Susan on that too, because, you are also in Bergen County, and we've, from what I understand, has been delayed again. So a couple of things. One, are you sensing any hesitation or any fear? And then just a quick thing as far as scheduling, your plan of action when you get back into the salon.
Well, I do think we're getting the feeling that everyone is anxious at this point to really get their services done. We've had an overwhelming amount of people calling all the time. We've had our phones redirected to Ian's phone number, so that way we're always able to be in contact with our clients. So I don't think so much on the clients that are going to be calling and wanting to get service. They're obviously not going to be, I think, too apprehensive. But there's always different personalities, and I think it's even important that we, even for the staff, let them really know that we are constantly on top of it, because there's different personalities. Some were apprehensive towards the end of when we were closing as well. So it's just a matter of, I think, once we all get in there and just everybody seeing how we're all set up and ready to accommodate whatever the restrictions are. And it's probably also a very fluid situation, because as each week passes, I would assume that things would get more and more back to normal.
Right, right.
Yeah, I think everybody's kind of been sharing them, Gerard, over the weeks about how there's going to be the intensity, and then will it slightly dissipate as, things become more, I don't know, settled, or a new normal. Yeah.
Right.
And I think, Fran hit on probably the strongest point is about this spacing out of people, like not having too many people in one environment. I think that's one of the key.
And I think it's also a mandate, Brian. I think
it is,
what I understand, that is going to be a mandate depending on the size of the salon. We are permitted possibly as stylists to only have X amount of people in the salon. And I have to give it up to Fran because Fran's on top of that. Like she's, you know,
Sure.
she figured out the calculations of the amount of people that are going to work, when they're going to work, plus their guests and herself, and that's it. And then the rest, like Fran said, you know, salons will be using parking lots as waiting rooms, which is kind of awkward. Carolyn, so for your salon and as being the salon coordinator there, is there a apprehensiveness that you are sensing from possibly any of the guests or the stylists? And what I mean by apprehensiveness, because I think that we're all being brave to say, oh, you know, we're all excited. Nobody has a fear. Nobody's worried. But I think deep down inside, you do, because we also have to take into consideration to think about this. There will have been guests that would have been subjected to the COVID-19 virus and have recovered from it. So with that knowledge behind us, you know, like each and every one of you said, that you're also taking these precautions in your salons to prevent any type of hesitation. So do you feel that there's any sense amongst the stylists, the assistants, or the front desk coordinators?
I mean, I think amongst all of us, as far as the stylists, assistants, and myself being the front desk go, having that team unit and the trust in each other, I think that we're feeling a lot easier about going into the situation. But of course, the unknown is where you start to feel a little uncertain, some nervousness around things. You know, we're still trying to figure out what we want to implement, how we're going to implement all of the different procedures once we get back. So I think that's where the nerves can be. But I know once we decide on something and move forward as a team together, I think just the togetherness of everybody is going to kind of ease those nerves and help to things go smoothly.
And that's good, because I think that this is a great round table for you to be a part of, because some have implemented situations and occurrences that they're going to start implementing within their salons, and that could help out as well for you and your staff there, and the rest of the stylists, the owners, and everything there. So I think it's good. I have an open question for everybody online real quickly. So if we can go around, each and every one of us, all right, because I think the common denominator in a lot of what I've heard from each and every one of you is that the communication to your stylist, to your guests, has been open, and you've been reaching out. I know Fran mentioned it, Susan mentioned it, Kelsey mentioned it. So there is that communication that has been, and we're trying to assure our guests. A couple of things that you've assured the guests on, what were the expectations that were going to be expected from them when they start to come back to your salon. I want to really start with Hannah, because Hannah, your salon is already open. So were there any expectations that were communicated to your guests prior to them coming into the salon?
Yeah, and one of our main things was about wearing a mask. But most people are, you know, very understanding about that, and most of our clients already have them. But we ordered actually 100 for the salon. So if they didn't have one, you know, they could use one of ours, and we have, you know, bins outside. You know, if they wanted to keep it, they can take it. But if not, you know, they can leave it with us, and we'll take care of it.
Right.
Also,
you know what, I just want to cut you off for a minute there, and not even cut you off, but I love what you just said, that, you know what, you know, if they want to leave it, you'll toss it in the bin, you'll get rid of it. Because one thing that I've noticed lately, which is starting to annoy me, and if anybody is out there watching, please share this with everybody. Please stop tossing. And I'm a runner, so I try to go running. And that's one thing I've learned since I've been in lockdown, that I could run a lot more than I've been originally scheduled to run. But people have been tossing masks and rubber gloves
I know, it's terrible.
out in the street, down the curb. And you know what? Listen, God forbid that anything, we don't know how anything is spread. So please dispose of those gloves and masks in the proper way. So I applaud caring, I applaud you, Hannah, and your salon, that you guys are implementing that. Great job.
Excellent. Good show.
That's why I did that. That's why I bought the bins, because I've seen everything on Facebook, and people are just throwing them on the ground, and not just a waste, but it looks bad, and it's bad on the environment. And I think that's one thing I'm big about, is the environment, and that's why I did it personally, was because of what you said.
Right.
Excellent.
Cool.
Good for you.
That's awesome.
Good show. Thank you.
Real quick, I know, Fran, on that same topic, I know that some of the waste bins at Salon G has been changed now to touchless.
Right.
Good. Any other thing that you can share with everybody, like some of the things that you either have implemented by your emails, have you talking about how you emailed, what the guests are going to expect, and what we expect from them when they return?
I shared with them different things that we're going to do. Like I mentioned before, the mass disinfecting, staggering appointments, to be patient. We have a lot of guests who are just used to being serviced when they want to be serviced, because we have stylists who spoil their clients to death.
Yeah.
And they're used to just being squeezed in, and they're happy. They'll wait for hours because they love that stylist, but we can't do that anymore. Right. So I kind of put it out there to the ones that I spoke to and told them, you got to be patient with appointments, and we'll try to get you in, but it's for your safety. And everybody is really understanding about that.
Right.
The other thing I did share with them is that we're going to be using different capes. When we use our cutting capes, we're not going to use the same cutting cape on anybody anymore. There have been a plethora of new capes ordered that we are going to have, so that we can have a cape per client, and then we'll be able to wash them and sanitize them and get them ready for the next service day, along with more towels, along with all that stuff that we need to get.
Right.
And, I think that really makes people feel comfortable, because that cape is really the only thing besides the chair you're sitting in and, touching the armrest, that you're sharing with the client before you.
Right.
So because you can clean the shampoo sinks, and you can clean your armrests and everything, but you can't clean that cape unless you're washing it with hot water. So we do have a cape per guest, which is really nice.
Right. And I think that is something that whether salons want to say that they've been doing it or not, a lot of salons say, we all know that everybody's changed the color cape. Color capes get changed for every client. I think the cutting capes are probably something that kind of slipped away as the industry continued and got bigger. And, I know a lot of other salons are going to disposable capes, if they weren't able to order a plethora of cutting cape. So I'm glad to hear that over at Salon G that you guys will get the cutting cape. Kelsey, one thing that you shared with some of your guests of what expectations that your salon is going to start implementing there.
So things that we're going to start implementing is clients are able to bring in their own masks. They're encouraged to. But also, if they don't have them, we will provide them for them. Letting them know that when they're scheduling their appointments, once the appointment date gets closer, to let us know if they need to reschedule due to them having a fever, cough, not feeling well, just as a precaution. And then also I'm going to be telling Cheryl that we should, I think that we should invest in more capes. So the disposable capes, we need the trash cans at the exit so that dirty masks and gloves aren't being brought outside of the salon.
Right. And some of them, if they come in with their own capes, I know that there's all these, everybody's been making capes, and there's all these different ones. My partner actually sent me one or two from Hawaii, and I got some really cool prints on them. So some of them are reusable capes that they put charcoal filter inside. So whether it's a charcoal filter or the mask, I should say, the charcoal filter or the masks, they have to be disposed in a proper manner. But you hit a point, and then I want to share it over with Susan and ask if anybody else, or if Susan, if your salon is implementing that. I've heard, and I've gotten some text messages, and I did some research earlier, some salons are having a questionnaire filled out. And it basically asks the client as they walk in, as soon as they walk in. And I'm a little bit curious about that because, what prevents somebody to suddenly forget that they did have a fever or kind of fill out the questionnaire to the liking because everybody's excited to get their hair done. Have anybody thought about temperature taking?
We did think about that, although that's still a subject that we're pondering whether we're gonna go through with that. And maybe it would also be something that would be told to us that we would have to do.
Right.
Because we were looking into purchasing the thermometers. But again, we want to be compliant with whatever is told to us. So we're pretty much kind of in a holding pattern because I think it's still a little way off until we get to the actual opening point. And it seems like I listen to the news every day, all day from time to time. And what's said in the morning sometimes is different in the afternoon. So it's really hard. We've already even purchased some plexiglass for the front desk just because we've been noticing when we do go shopping that that's been implemented. So we thought it would be a good idea to at least have it in the event that we wouldn't be able to get our hands on it anymore.
So, and that's a good point too. What you just said is really important too in one aspect. When you ended that by saying we didn't know if we were going to get our hands on it. And that's why, I applaud all of you. Fran, I applaud you as well with that because the ordering of supplies and what was needed is what has to be. And we had that, Brian, we've had that Facebook Live before.
Yeah.
The time is now.
No.
You needed to start getting all taken care of right now so that can be, when it's time to open, you're ready, set to go. Because to your point, Susan, things change from morning to afternoon. They're closing the parks, they're opening the parks. They're opening the beaches, they're closing the beaches. It's kind of crazy. And I know that salons have been talking about these plexiglass and things like that. But then that tends to does it just stop at the front desk? Where does the situation go now with something like that? Because if you notice, every register at a supermarket has that. So does that mean we create dividers between every station now?
Right. Well, we're planning on the plexiglass for the front desk, and we're also planning on clear, like shower curtain type partitions in between chairs.
Right.
So again, we purchased them just in the event at least we would have them depending on how many people were allowed in the salon. Now our layout is very long, so we could kind of departmentalize each section in a way, and we have 3 doors to our salon. So depending on what's being told to us, we can navigate people in different sections as well. So we're just, again, trying to prepare for whatever we're told.
Right, preparation.
There you go, preparation. Yeah.
Carolyn, I have a question for you. I don't know if you're aware about it. You're in the Massachusetts area, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Right.
And I know about this because I'd spoken to Fran about it. But has everybody saw or participated, I should say, in the whole Barbicide course that they had out there to be certified through Barbicide? There is a course on barbicide.com that you can be certified in, which kind of gives you a preparation on basically the guidelines of sanitation purposes. They just released another one, another certification class. I just found out about that. I kind of had an idea it was coming, and basically for salon coordinators, salon managers, and owners. So it is on the Barbicide site. Has any, and we'll start with Carolyn and go around. Have any of your salons participated in being certified in the Barbicide certification sterilization course?
So I have seen that kind of certificate around the internet, and one of our owners actually has been certified in it. So I know that's something that the rest of our stylists are going to be interested in participating in, because we want to be up to speed, up to code on everything. So when we do open, our clients can be rest assured that we're doing everything possible to keep them safe and healthy.
Right. Awesome.
Good.
And I saw a couple of hands, just by show of hands. Have any of the other salons, Fran, Hannah, Kelsey? Awesome. I mean, it's a good avenue. It's another certificate that you could show to your guests that come in to let them know that, hey, you are taking the precautions that are needed, and there's no cost for the certification class, which is great. I think that's really, really important.
Mm-hmm.
Here's something that I'm curious to hear about. So as salon coordinators and managers, okay, the connection between you and the guests, especially those of you who are at the front desk. Now, with some salons, their stylists go up and greet the guests as well. So has that been a concern? Because you are the face of the salon at that moment. You're at that front desk. You're the one greeting them. So you are the one that are first going to see the nervousness in their eyes and the comfortness. So has that been a thought to each and or every one of you? Whoever wants to talk first, raise your hand, and then we'll unmute you.
Oh, no hands yet, Gerard.
No hands
up.
Hannah. Okay, let's go to Hannah.
Hannah.
I'll say that a week before we opened, we had each of our young team members calling our stylist guest. And, you know, we are the face of them for the salon. And I cannot tell you how many people that I called that were like, oh my gosh, I'm so happy to hear your voice. And I mean, that's, you know, that's most of the clients.
Right.
And, you know, if they were busy, they were like, you know, I'll call you back in 2 seconds, you know, just give me time to get back to my car or to get anywhere. And I think for us, especially, or for me, the clients are, you know, a huge reason of why, you know, I do what I do and why, especially why I love where I work, because of our clients.
Right. And you're in the front line right there. So when they walk in, you're that beautiful face that you're going to see, and the probably the eye contact at that moment when you look at them, you know, you'll exchange that look of relief, that look of help me, that look of, you know, I know you got my back, right? The reassurance. That's really, really good. Susan, I saw your hand go up. So I want to hear your intake on that as well.
Yes, I just believe, I mean, that's basically how our salon is all the time. We're very like welcoming. If we see somebody having a hard time coming in through the door, we have a lot of older clients as well. We're always there to open the door for them. So it's just going to be an extension from what we normally are used to doing, making them feel comfortable and reassured. That should just come as second nature for us.
Right.
So we have a good group at the desk who are very, very accommodating.
Wow. That's awesome. Fran, I want to go down to you for a minute though, too, because I know that you guys have a beautiful coffee bar there. Brian partakes in it quite often.
I love my coffee when I come to see Fran.
There's a coffee bar there, beverage fridge. There's the espresso machine, cappuccinos, water, sodas, cookie jars. Snacks.
Yes.
And I know that Fran is the welcome wagon when guests walk into the salon, like each and every one of you are. And that's really another duty, another hat that you all wear. And there's that whole implementation of offering them a beverage. And in a lot of cases, it will either be suspended, it will either be so-called deactivated. Salons are not offering anymore, and we might be mandated by state board as it to be forbidden. Where do you foresee that taking? Because that's basically the first thing that you offer them when they walk in.
Right. So I'm pretty confident that I can make them feel comfortable when they walk in by not showing them that I have any fear, you know, because I'm very sure and secure in the fact of all the stuff that we implemented that I think that we're doing it correctly. So the energy I'm going to give off hopefully will keep them calm. But the coffee bar, that's like our signature. That's what we're known
It
for.
sure is. I'll vouch for that.
We are, I don't know, maybe you could call us extra. We have, china, and we have little saucers, and now we can't have any of that because we don't really have a dishwasher on premises that's going to do, say, proper sterilization, although we were washing everything and cleaning it and making sure they were clean, but still not the same as putting it through a sterilization process, obviously. So we are going to switch to, disposable. We're going to do it as classy as possible to maintain our level of service, but there are things that we have to change, and they're not going to be able to serve themselves, and we can offer, unless it's mandated that we can't, and then that's just going to be, wiped out until they tell us we can. But if not, my plan is to offer it, to be the one to bring it to them. The cookie jar, our signature cookie jar, is beautiful and it's decorative, and it's loose cookies though, although they're placed in there very pretty, but they're
I know.
loose cookies.
It's like the Kardashians. Some people don't even want to take one because they're afraid they're going to mess them up. They're so perfectly lined up.
And so we have tongs that most people use, but yeah, you have the people that don't. So we can't have that anymore.
Right.
So
true.
We're thinking of possibly switching over to cookies that are individually wrapped and making them look really pretty in the jar. So when you take them, or maybe not even in a jar, so you don't have to touch a lid. Maybe they're going to be displayed differently. They'll be individually wrapped, so nobody has to feel like, "Ooh, who touched my cookie?" or "Who touched this cookie?" You know what I mean? So there has been a lot of thought that has gone into that.
Right.
It's a big part of who we are. And, losing it, I mean, I'm not going to lose it because I'm having my espresso, Brian. Other people may lose, so we'll see.
Right.
We'll see what happens.
Right.
That's the plan.
It's amazing. Sorry, Fran. It's amazing, Gerard, isn't it? Even right down to thinking about the cookies.
Yeah.
Things that we've just all take for granted, and it's a beautiful service. It's there. My heart's even heavy at the thought of that because it's such a part of the visit. Every time I go, I'm always having the coffee and the cookies. But I understand your hurt with that, Fran. But again, until it works itself out, Gerard. Huh?
And I think, Brian, too, we were even, everything was being discussed about, the beverage bar. They were talking about it there because, the beverage bar offers waters and flavored seltzers and sodas and juices and things like that. But like Fran said, which is amazing, they're cutting out the self-service. It's not going to be able to self-service because, everybody's going to be touching it. If it's going to continue and if it's permitted to continue, they are going to have to make sure that, it is handed to them. It is given to them. So has anybody else have an issue with that? And here's the thing about that, because when you think about something that may be minute to some people as far as the offerings that we offer the guests who walk into the doors of the salon, it's a big thing to them. It's an added bonus to them. And everybody that's on this panel right now is the forefront of that. Because if you're not actually doing it yourself for them, because it's the first step when they walk in, you're actually reaching out to another stylist or an apprentice or an assistant to do that. So again, another hat that each and every one of you wear. Now, by a show of hands, do any of the other salons, do you guys have that service in your salons? So you all do. So was there talk about eliminating it, or have you came up with an idea to offset it? Anybody want to go first?
Let's hear from Kelsey, because they've got quite a big salon operation there, if I remember rightly.
So I will be serving the coffee to clients, even clients that are in the back. Assistants will come up and let me know what clients need what. We'll be using the disposable cups. We have the single wrap cookies that we're going to be using. So doing that and sanitizing the counters every so often.
Right. And I think it's, it's kind of like Brian said, heartfelt, because, it's almost like you've invited people into your living rooms, for afternoon tea or something. And now it's like, you're still doing your best to do that. And I think that those little things that each and every one of you offer to your guests are kind of comforting, and that's also a strong part. And it would be a shame if it gets to the point where that has to be wiped away completely. It would be a shame.
Yeah.
The other conversation I want to start it with Hannah. I know that there has been talk, because as each and every one of your guests leave, your stylist would probably come up and say to you, I told her about this product or that product. So now there's a lot of talk about our retail areas. How is that going to be mandated? How are each and every one of you going to implement that, mandate that? As well as there's been a lot of talk about the little packets, the samples that you
Samples, yeah.
Some people are saying that we have to stop that. It's almost like, oh, Brian, you can't have your espresso, and by the way, you can't have
my
sample pack.
Yeah.
So, Hannah, in your salon, what were the thoughts? And because you've already opened, how's that been going?
Like everybody else, also, we usually do coffee and tea, and we're not doing that at all. We have completely cut. Yeah, we are not doing that at our salon at all. We do have a vending machine for Coke if they want it, but that gets sanitized and wiped down, after the fact. But product-wise, we are having our clients wait outside in their car until their appointment, and then they call or text us to let us know that they're there. And then we ask them if they need product, and then we bag it for them, and we get them checked out, and then it's already in their car for them, and then they don't have to worry about it. They don't have to worry about the stylist touching it. They don't have to touch it. All of our shelves have been sanitized. We've sanitized the products. Our stylists only have 6 products on their station. So everything's minimal. So minimal touch is what we've gone for at our salon. Even our pay, we are debit only, or we can put it on account now, or Apple Pay. We are not doing cash or check either.
Wow, interesting.
That's really interesting. I know that, now that we're in the credit card business, that there are a lot of salons, but there are salons that don't take credit cards.
Yeah.
Do all of your salons take credit cards?
Yeah.
Everybody takes credit card.
Okay, so
wait, here's a question, and then we'll go to Carolyn.
Carolyn, yeah.
Another question that I quickly have is for each and every one of you, okay? And it was going to be talking about, payment, how that was going to go. You touched on that. So I want to hear that from Carolyn, if they thought about how they're going to accept payments. The other thing is, I want you all to think about it. As salon coordinators and front desk receptionists and managers, things like that, will you all be wearing gloves and masks? And at that same token, if you are still accepting credit cards, debit cards, how are they signing that? How's your point of sale? We'll start with Carolyn.
Caroline.
Yeah, so we definitely have started looking into different options for payment. And even on that note, we have kind of seen some fees go up actually for certain credit card swipes. So it's kind of a great time for that conversation. Things such as keeping cards on file could be a potential option. We haven't really locked anything down yet, but definitely like what Hannah's doing with her salon is minimal touch is definitely going to be the goal. We're still kind of in discussion of that.
Right. And what about, will your front desk receptionists and salon coordinators be wearing masks and gloves as well?
Absolutely. I mean, absolutely the masks. With the gloves, it's kind of that whole cross-contamination situation as well. I think sometimes you can feel a little bit too safe if you have the gloves on, where you may not be as cautious and wash your hands as frequently or sanitize. So I think it's kind of going to be a comfort level. But masks right now for Massachusetts, it's just become mandated. You have to wear them when you're in public. So absolutely the masks. Right.
And I think for each and every one of you as receptionists, it's going to be hard to try and change a pair of gloves every time.
I agree.
For the cross-contamination. So I hope your stations and your salon owners have a large bottle of sanitizing. And if I know Fran, she's going to make sure that it's at that front desk.
Absolutely.
Susan, some of your inputs on that as far as point of sale. How is that going to affect? How do you feel that your receptionist, because you have more than one receptionist in your salon,
Yes, we
like Fran
usually
does.
have 2 at a time, depending on how busy it is. But I think at first it will be 1 person, behind the desk. It's just really going to depend. We're going to have to play it by ear to see. There might be 1 person in the back room just doing the phone calling, so that way that person is also kind of protected. That could be making the confirmation calls and that sort of thing. We have a computer in the back as well that appointments can be booked. So, but we're really going to have to just see how it goes at that point. I know a lot of people only like to pay in cash. We have our certain clients that I know on Saturday morning comes with his $100 bill and he's expecting his change so he can make the rest of his stops.
Yeah.
It's just the way
So
it is that we know our clients. So day by day, it just, kind of speaks for itself. I don't think we want to put any limitations, extra limitations if we already have to abide by so many things. I think we're also going to really be stressing that clients are punctual and on time, because that, again, happens very frequently, people running late. So I think we're just also going to be stressing that at the front desk.
Right.
Good.
It's a lot to think about. I think that, and I think what I like about all of the panels that are here, all these salon coordinators that are sitting in front of us right now, is when you look at the sizes, because, let's all remember one thing. And I always say it, right, Brian? We can all agree to disagree. It doesn't matter. What works in one state does not necessarily work in another state.
Exactly.
I think, and I don't mean this in an insulting way, but I think Fran and Susan can agree with me. Bergen County is a very demanding county. The people that live in Bergen County are demanding. They are used to a certain type of lifestyle and, tends to be high, and they want what they want. And, but I think that at the end of the day, that each and every one of our salons have to do what they have to do that best suits them. And there are some implementations that we can implement that will be feasible, and some will not be feasible. Kelsey, your thought on any of that, on your point of sale when you're checking out your guests now?
So as of right now, we are taking we're taking credit cards. It's still up in the discussion as to whether or not we'll be doing cash. I personally do not feel 100% comfortable dealing with the cash. Even before, when we were shut down, I would take a pump of sanitizer before and after handling the cards and the cash. But I'm thinking that maybe having cards on file would be a good idea to help eliminate the cross-contamination. And like even with signing the credit slips, I am like sanitizing the pens after each client uses it, so you're not doing cross-contamination there with the next client who uses it after.
And now, I don't mean to cut you off, Kelsey, but now is the perfect time for each and every one of you to speak with your salon owners, order uku boxes of pens and pencils, and give a new one out with your name of your salon on it, because it's the perfect time to do that. Become the new Marriott of your salon. Yeah, I know every time I go into a Marriott, I steal the pens anyway. But actually, it's probably the ones that we give out. But anyway, but it's the perfect time to do that. And I think that that's another thing to take into consideration, that once they sign with that, if they sign with that, I know, Fran, you have a touch screen in your salon, and they have to kind of sign with that. So maybe it's the styler that they walk away with, but it's a perfect time. This way you're promoting as well as sanitizing.
Yeah, that's good thinking, Gerard, because all the branding. You're still branding.
I heard, Brian, and I've been wondering about this, and you tell me what you think about this, Brian. It's a question for you.
Oh, boy.
And everybody else, too, because I was thinking about this, and I've heard a lot about the cash. People are getting nervous with the cash. Okay. Which is true. Cash in one aspect is kind of dirty. It's always been, really, when you think about it. But I've also heard businesses out there that are only accepting cash right now. You know, they've been taking them, like if you went to some of the mom and pop grocery stores or some stores, or if you had home drop-offs and deliveries, you know, a lot of people have been using credit cards. So I've heard of that aspect as well. But has there been any clarification, you know, because remember in the beginning, we all were taught and learned that, you know, well, the virus lives this long on metal and this long on glass, and leave your groceries on side if it's on plastic, on cardboard, you know, because let's take this into consideration. You know, a lot of people are like very cautious of what they order today, right? You know, Amazon has been doing phenomenal, you know, but then cardboard, which is paper, money, which is paper, where is the correlation of, you know, how long does it last on money, and can you Lysol money down? So, you know, any thoughts on that? You know, maybe somebody knows, hey, it only lasts 15 minutes or it lasts a day on paper. But have we ever looked into that?
Well, I was going to say, right after this discussion, we're all going to be looking into it, aren't we? Because I don't have the answer to that. So to try and address that, it is actually very a conscious question, Gerard, to ask, because most of us, I would assume, handle some sort of cash at some point.
Right, and does it live longer on plastic, which credit cards are made out of, versus paper? Because we all know that everybody used to always say that wash your hands after you count a lot of money, because money travels all over. You don't know where you get it from. And your credit card, of course, stays in your wallet. But then again, think about that. You know, we're not like the Europeans. At least I know in the state of New Jersey, maybe Massachusetts it is. I'm not sure. I'd like to hear Carolyn's input on that, as well as Hannah and Kelsey, the three of you. I know that within the state of New Jersey, you hand your credit card to somebody before all this happened, they'd walk away, you know, especially in a restaurant, charge what they had to charge and come back and give you back your credit card. But in Europe, they bring the machine to you.
They bring the terminal to you.
Right, right, yeah. Brian? That happens.
Yeah,
you and I used to travel a lot, which is going to be a hold on that too. So in any of your states, Hannah, Carolyn, Kelsey, do you or do they at the restaurants bring the credit card swipe to you?
Yeah, so for our credit card machine, I do actually take the card from the client and run the sale myself. But it's not a standard. I mean, depending on where you go, you either do it yourself or someone does it for you. So we're also a unique situation being a renter salon, where some of the clients actually will pay the stylist directly. And so I think we might be seeing more Venmo transactions happening in that sense. And that way you have zero contact.
Yes, but I'm going to share one thing with you. Aware people to be careful of Venmo, because I have heard, and it's probably something that we need to check into with Venmo. I think Fran and I had this conversation once before, because there's not an avenue where you can open up a Venmo business account. Unless they start that, I don't know. But I've been getting a lot of transactions and going back and forth and paying other people through Venmo as well. But I heard of a stylist that was using Venmo on a professional level, and they closed the Venmo account on them.
Oh, okay.
So it's something in case for anybody
Absolutely.
to look into.
Yes.
Look into. Hannah, in your state, how does the terminal work there when you take charges?
So for our salon directly, we have the Clover devices, the Clover Flex, and we actually, we are chairside service for the most part. So we actually take our devices to the clients, and that was before we even had to close. Mm-hmm. So, you know, for us as a salon, especially in our area, we were more prepared in that aspect, because we've been doing it for almost a year now, getting everybody used to it. So most people don't even come to the front desk anymore. So that's been really lucky. Well, not, you know, we kind of self-prepared ourselves on that part.
Right.
Yeah.
Do me a favor, for everybody that's watching and for all the other participants in this, what's the name of your terminal, your service that you provide?
It's the Clover. We have the Flex devices.
Clover Flex devices.
Yeah.
I know Fran's going to look into Square now to find out if they're, if there's, because I know they have Square there. But that's good. Thanks for sharing that. Kelsey, in your state and in your salon, do they bring the terminals to the guests, or do you?
As of right now, I am taking the card from clients and taking care of it at the receptionist desk. Most restaurants that you go to, they also take your card, and same with retail.
Right. You know, Brian, it amazes me because, you know, you and I travel around the world and we've been traveling so much. And, you know, where I can honestly say that the United States, North America, is very advanced in a lot of ways. There's other things that we tend not to be so advanced in. It takes a little bit longer, you know.
Exactly.
So it's kind of a balance, but there are some things like, you know, but to Hannah's point, Brian, like she said, they have the Flex system from Clover, right?
Clover.
The Flex system, which I think is fantastic. And, you know, does anybody use Square in their salons? But that's another avenue. And I believe because Square used to have the untouch, you know, the little touch thing, the person would click on top of this little box and it automatically charges. But I'm sure Square probably, if not, is in the process of offering that other little thing. I know they have those little things that you put on the cell phone. So that could be an avenue as well, too.
We also take Apple Pay, too.
Right.
We have the Apple Pay, Samsung Pay, and all of those touchless options, too, with our Clovers.
That's awesome. So if I'm going to open up one thing, and then I'd like to end it with, I'm going to end it with Hannah, actually, because Hannah's, their salon, Metropolis, is open, and they've been up and running, so they've been experiencing something. But I do want to pass it around before we get to Hannah, so I'm going to save Hannah for last. We're going to go through everybody. And I want you to think about it for a minute. We'll give you a minute to think about it. If there's a question as a salon coordinator that you want to share or ask the panel, because maybe somebody else in another salon has the answer for that. If there's a question, or if there's a suggestion that you can give to everybody, and then we'll kind of like round this out and end it up that way. Does that sound good to everybody?
It sounds great to me. That's a great way to do it, Gerard, because that, you know, that really is on the moment. You know,
right, because I've been watching Hannah writing things down. I've been, you know, watching Fran do things like that. Kelsey's got her pen in her hand. Carolyn's like listening contently. I saw Susan do that too. So it's your option. If you have a question that you would like to ask the panel, maybe some of the panels have, or myself or Brian have an answer for, or if you have a suggestion or an ending note to end our roundtable today. All right. Who wants to go first?
Ooh.
No. Let's pick somebody.
So you put them on the spot now.
Smile going on over there, Kelsey. We'll start with you.
Come on, Kelsey. Oh, there you go. She's still mute. There you go.
Let's see. So like,
or maybe you have both. Maybe you have both a question and a final.
So I do have a question. As to like the doors situation, do you guys feel that we should be opening the doors for the clients so they're not touching the handles, or that they should still be doing that on their own?
That's a good one.
That's a good one. Does anybody have a comment on that? I mean, I have something that I'm thinking in my mind. Does anybody want to comment on that?
We're actually open them for our clients because we are going outside to check them out.
Okay, so you open them. What about Susan? What about you as far as the door opening? Do you feel that the front desk coordinator should open the doors? I know that you mentioned that you normally do that anyway. You assist them.
In some cases we do. I think depending on the situation, it's less movement for the person to come out from, like for the receptionist to come around the desk the way our desk is. So I think we would just have them walk in, and maybe with the nice weather, we might be even having the door open.
Mm-hmm.
I personally feel if weather permits and it's a nice day, I feel more fresh that the doors are open, getting fresh air, walking in and out. So that might be an option, going right into it, being that it's not going to be hopefully like super hot. But I think it's less movement if they just open the door, in my opinion,
Right.
for the way our place is set up.
Right. Does anybody else want to comment on it? Fran? Let me unmute Fran there. Hold up, Fran. There you go. Oh, there you go. Oh, there you go.
They're both doing it together.
Okay, I'm going to unmute you.
Here we go.
Now, why aren't you? Okay, you're going to have to do it because I think it locked in now. There you go.
There you go.
So I agree with Susan for the way our salon is set up, the same thing. Like, I think that we should allow them to walk in, and I have absolutely zero problem with wiping the door handle down after every single person if I had to. I mean, because the way we're set up and the way we are, I feel like that would, like if we were going outside to ring people up, that would make sense. But if I'm at the desk ringing somebody up and somebody's walking in and I have to run to do that, and then I have to make sure it's gonna stress me out.
I love that. That's why I love Fran, because of her honesty. But that's a good point too. I'm going to sum that question up, and then we'll move to the next one by saying that I did read this, and I did speak to somebody else on this chat that I was on, which they are going to be doing. They're implementing. If a salon has a front door and a back door, they will enter through the front door and depart through the back door. So that only people coming in will be coming into the front door, and only people leaving will be leaving through the back door. And I kind of like Susan's idea though too, because in the nice weathers, people do put their doors open. And right now we're heading into some nice weather. So did that help you out a little bit, Kelsey? Awesome. Let's go to Carolyn. Do you have a question or that you'd like to ask everybody, or a suggestion? Caroline? Keep calling you Carolyn. I apologize.
I guess I would more so just have a comment of it's almost a great opportunity for us all to really look at our service that we're providing and find a way to elevate that as well, since we're all finding different ways of doing things, instead of kind of afraid of the changes we need to make. Look at them more from an opportunistic eye, and see that this could be a great way that we could provide a better service than we were before, that may have fell to the wayside.
I love that, Caroline.
Me too.
I love
too.
that,
Right
because I think you are so right. I think for such a long time, and not to disrespect anybody, even, yes, I'm the creative director for Z1 Concept, but I also own, Fran takes care of the salon for me, so that I can do what I'm doing. But as a stylist too, I feel that we have kind of become relaxed, in providing that extra service. So I love, love, love your comment that this is the time to elevate what we've been doing. At the same token, when we are being mandated to possibly not do the things that we were doing. So let's come up with those ideas. Great comment.
Yeah, that was excellent, Karen. You saw that we both reacted at the same time simultaneously. So.
I thought that was great.
Yeah, that's great.
Fran, let's go to Fran. Fran, do you have a question or a comment that you want to offer everybody?
I don't really have a question. I guess maybe it could be both question and comment. I'm the one who worries about if the bathroom is clean. I'm the one who worries about, somebody was just in there. I did that before. Like, I was crazy before. So I would go in there. This is so not going to sound right, but if I thought somebody was questionable, I would go in there and wipe it down. Just because I hate to walk into a bathroom. I'm the same way in my home. That doesn't smell nice. I was always lighting the candle in the salon or spraying bleach into the toilet bowl. And I'm thinking now, how many people touch the doorknob? How many people touch the sink handles to wash their hands? How many people flush the toilet? And so that's my other either suggestion or concern. I know that in my salon, I'm going to be the one to do it because I'm not fighting with anybody about cleaning the bathroom because it's just not going to happen. Well, I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be aware. And if I don't make it because there is a lot happening in the front, I am going to delegate it to one of the girls because they know that I'm the crazy bleach lady who goes into the bathroom. So nobody will be shocked.
Right, right. I think that's a good point, Fran.
We're just concerned with every other aspect of the salon, but the bathroom, I mean, that just is the part that grosses me out the most.
Right. And I think that's a really, really good point for everybody too, is because we really haven't even talked about that because a restroom is used and technically by law, you can't close that down. Do you know what I mean? You can't forbid somebody to use that. So to be conscious, aware on that. And here's a couple of suggestions too. And I think that Fran and I will talk about that as well is, there might be a situation where you're going to have to, implement or install touchless faucets or automatic toilets, flush toilets. That might have to be, it's an expense, but it's something to start taking consideration about. I think that was a great viewpoint too, Fran. I think that kind of, now you're making everybody think. So they're either going to like you or hate you. It's one of the two. Let's go to Susan.
Well, I also just was thinking about tipping with the clients. We normally always have the little envelopes for the clients to leave a tip for our stylist. I was wondering what the other people were doing when we talked about that whole cash thing. So that was a question of mine. And
that's a good one.
As far as also last comments too, I know it's going to be hard and probably exhausting as those first days and weeks go by, but just try to keep always in your mind, this too shall pass, and stick with a can-do attitude. And especially if the desk emanates those feelings, hopefully it will still resonate with the rest of the staff, because sometimes you get a lot of complaining going on too.
Yeah. And you want to hush that down. I love that, Susan. Again, God, all of you are giving these good little tidbits. Can-do attitude. I love that. It's so true. Yes, this too shall pass, and this, yes, we can do this too. Not a big thing. It's like saying that I used to always tell people, and everybody used to tell me stuff, God only gives you as much as you can handle in life. And my friends would always tell me, well, he feels that I can handle a lot. But does anybody have a response to Susan's question about the tipping? Because that's a real good one too. Because I know that at Salon G, they have tip envelopes as well. Some people allow them to do it on charges. Some people don't. I don't know. Has anybody thought about that? Like, how would that be? And because with all due respect to all of our stylists, and I think you all agree, they've been out of work a very, very long time. We want to continue to encourage that. Your stylists, without sounding like beggars, show the appreciation, because stylists risk themselves every day, to service them. So I saw your hand going up, Hannah. Did you want to comment?
Let's get Hannah in. Yeah, there you go.
Tips has kind of been our gray zone. Doing a payment for your whole ticket, that's easy. We have always allowed, tips on, the debit or credit card. It just goes strictly on their check. But right now, it's just kind of up in the air. Most people are more than happy to tip on a card now, especially because of no cash. And even if we didn't have that no cash, no check, clients have told me they wouldn't have given cash anyway, because they don't know where it's been, and they don't, if something was on it, they don't want to give it to us. Mm-hmm. And there's apps. I think there's one called Tippy that you can use, and you can I think somebody was saying about Venmo, tipping on there too, not your whole transaction, but you could, in theory, tip your stylist through the Venmo or PayPal or something like that.
I agree with you, Hannah, that tipping is a very gray area. I think, Brian, I think I just have an idea for another round table. But I think that tipping is a very gray area. And I think that that, again, I have to honestly say that I think that that's going to relate to the salon, because let's face the fact, because some salons, depending on the guests that enter into your salon, some people don't have Venmo. Some people don't use an app. They don't. And the older clientele that are not as computer savvy and things like that probably are not going to want, they don't even have a cell phone. I know people that still have flip phones, you know what I mean? So I think that, Susan, well, I'm going to leave you with this. When you come up with a solution, please share it with all of us, because I think you brought up a good point, and I think that I'm going to definitely research into that and reach out to the chats that I'm in and ask people that, because I think that that's going to be, do stylists want to accept cash from their guests or not? Is there going to be a different avenue, or will it have to be mandated that, the salons that we're not allowing tips on credit cards because you lose that percentage, are they going to put it back on? It's a good one. Oh, you all have some good advice, a good point.
Wow.
So I'm going to end it. I just want to give Hannah, because Hannah has, their salon has been open, Metropolis, in Tennessee, right? In Tennessee was a state that has opened, which is, hooray to you guys. Hannah, and then I'll take it back and we'll go, and Brian will add a final word and we'll kind of close it up. So in case we don't, thank you to each and every one of you that did participate in it. But Hannah, before Brian goes off and I put a closing remark on it, your point on, now that you've been open, how many days have you been open so far? 1, 2, 3, a week?
Since last Friday.
Okay, so you're going on almost a week. Almost a week.
Yeah. Today's my first day off.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. And I'm sure your salon owners appreciate that, all your hard work. But a little insight, what you've seen so far, and both good, bad, or indifferent, and what your probably thought was in the beginning, that now you're taking a different avenue and possibly going to change it for the ongoing days that you're open. Anything that you could share with everybody?
I think for us, the first day was definitely not difficult, but the first day was definitely a learning experience. In terms from everybody, stylist, and our young team every one of us does everything. And so for us having, to learn certain things that we thought would work, and it did not work. For us, taking payments outside has been one of the best things that we've done. Taking the payments before the service. That way we can limit their time in the salon. And because people want to crowd together. And so that's what you're trying not to do, is to get people to stay, apart as long as we can. And
so you've taken the payment before the service.
Yes.
And has there, let me throw this out there to you. Has there been a situation where, because a lot of stylists are concerned when their guests come back in, you know what I mean? It's just not a single process color anymore. They might have to do a little bit of corrective work or whatever they have to do. So how does that work? Is the communication with the stylist prior to the payment being taken?
It is. So that is another thing. Just like our clovers, we started doing this before we closed. We were starting, if the clients were, more than willing, we took payments before they even came in. Or right when they came in the front desk, they were like, hey, let's go ahead and get paid. Then, we'll reschedule while you're up here. And so that way we have your customers coming back before you even see them. And so we're filling your book up before you even see them that day. And so that for us, that was one thing we were already doing. And most people are more than happy to do it. And we can always create a new ticket. So if you pay and then you end up having to do something extra, people are more than happy to pay for that. There's like treatments at the shampoo bowls. Whether they get one or not, they may not want to do it then, but they're like, hey, it's only $15, $30. They're like, let's just make another ticket for it, or products.
Right. Okay.
Quite innovative, isn't it, really,
Yeah.
Gerard?
Good.
Ahead of the game. Anyway.
Boy, you got my head going. This is
I know,
a good one.
me too. On the same. So much stuff. Wow, what a fulfilling round table, Gerard. So sum it up for us, and then I'll see us out. Thank you, Hannah.
I think again, I want to definitely applaud each and every one of you and thank you for being part of this, because there's a lot of really, really important information that each and every one of you has shared with us. I mean, think about it. Hannah ending it off with talking about payments, different ways to initiate, whether they pay prior to the service, taking the payment outside the service, and then always initiating another ticket, but keeping the size available. I mean, Susan, your point on tipping, I think was really, really strong, and opened up for a possible another Facebook Live, as well as the payment and tipping. So Hannah, Susan, definitely we need to get you back on. I think that's a really good discussion. I was just thinking, Brian, too, this would be a great follow-up to reach out to salons that already opened in their areas, because they can assist people that have not opened yet, especially with Bergen County in New York.
Thinking the same.
Carolyn, your ending statement I thought was fantastic. How you basically talked and, hey, this is going to be a way for us to upscale ourselves again, bring everything to a new, fresh, new approach. Kelsey, the questions that you asked were amazing. The door thing, I think that was a lot that everybody took into consideration. I think that you did a justice to all of us to think about that. Do we open the doors? Some people are opening the doors, some people are not opening the doors. What's the situation going to be like? When, like Fran said, when you're closing out somebody and not. And then Fran, you kind of gave everybody something to think about when you talked about the restrooms. Do you know what I mean? Of course, we can't, it's illegal to shut down a restroom. I know they do it in parks and things like that, but at a business, and when you got to go, you got to go. So we need to be on top of that. So those ideas about touchless, garbage cans and sinks and flushable toilets, I think it's important. I think that everybody should applaud themselves, Brian, because I think that this was a really, really good, incisive roundtable discussion. And I appreciate each and every one of you, not only as a creative director for Z1 Concept, but as a salon owner, because you are the face of the salon. You're the first face that everybody sees. And with all due respect, in a lot of cases, some of you are who the stylists go to before they even go to the salon. So keep up the great job and all these great ideas, and tune in for this to be launched in our next Zoom.
Right.
Over to you, Brian.
Gerard, thank you. And Gerard did prompt everybody. And before I say bye and thank everybody individually, let's do that. Let's give ourselves a big cheer for that. Was a great round table. So well done, everybody.
Good job, everybody.
Excellent. Oh, dogs are all barking. That's okay.
Bucky's.
I know. So you're all unmuted. So on behalf of myself and Gerard and Z1 Concept North America, that was a very highly stimulating roundtable. I'd like to thank each of you, Susan, Caroline, Hannah, Kelsey, and Fran, and of course Gerard. Thank you for such valuable input. You know that this is going to be a big message out there to the industry. So many people are interested in these topics, and as Gerard said, we've already got another follow-up roundtable. And watch out, because we might invite one or two of you back with some other new people, because you set the pace there. So until the next time, everybody out there, thank you so much for tuning in and watching us when this goes out. And get ready. Listen, episode 12 is already in the works, and we're excited to bring that to you as well. So until next time, bye from myself, Gerard, and the team here. So bye for now.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.